Welcome to The Sample, a quick discussion of auditing concepts and terms that will help you do your work. Conducting an audit in accordance with auditing standards is no small feat, and I want to support you. We'll be referring to the GAO, IIA, and AICPA literature to bolster our conversations. Let's get started. In this episode, we answer the question, what are the GAO Yellow Book ethical principles? The Yellow Book is government auditing standards, and it's telling auditors how they should behave and how they should make decisions when there's an ethical dilemma, and they lay out 5 principles. And I love the first one, which is the public interest, that drives the rest of them, actually, because what it says is that we are to always keep the beneficiaries of the programs in mind. Now, it doesn't actually say that literally, but that's the way I think about it. Because when I'm auditing, let's say, a housing development, I don't like to use this word when it comes to auditing, but I could pander to the developer of the housing development. I could pander to the manager of the housing development. But instead, what I'm being asked to do is look through all that bureaucracy and look through the person who's actually writing my check and paying me to do the audit and who I'm meeting with face to face. And I'm thinking not about pleasing them, but about pleasing or helping this boy who lives in the housing development. So I'm remembering who I'm ultimately working for is the public, is the beneficiary of these programs. Now, of course, it won't always be children. We are the world. We are the children. Might not be always children. Could be disabled people. Could be the homeless. Could be the elderly. Could be your, everyday run-of-the-mill school kid. Well, I'm back to the children. Why do I love this so much? Why do I love this principle? Because no other audit standard that I know of says anything about this. And it inspires me to do a good job. Some people won't do a job just to make, or just because it's going to, increase shareholder value or make somebody who's already wealthy wealthier. This is inspirational to me because it's looking to those who need help, giving a voice to those who have no voice. And that principle, that ethical principle, kind of overrides all the other principles that we're going to talk through here quickly. So integrity is necessary in order to stand up to that person who's writing your check and say, you know what? I know you don't want me to say anything about this, but because I'm thinking of the children, I'm going to say something. So it's standing firm. That's why I have an oak tree in the background here. Standing firm in the face of pressure from the client, from your, here it is, government, various levels of government, other likely users, pressures from to inappropriately achieve personal or organizational gain. In resolving those conflicts, acting with integrity means you place priority on your responsibilities to the public interest. Let me show you an article about a whistleblower that demonstrates integrity. You may have seen this article. This is by NPR. It says Theranos whistleblower celebrated Elizabeth Holmes. She was indicted of fraud. Okay, here's the whistleblower. I'm just going to read you a little bit about him. It started in 2011 when the whistleblower Schultz was a college student, he was visiting his grandfather, former Secretary of State George Shultz. Okay. And he introduced him to Elizabeth Holmes, and her idea was to make blood testing faster and easier and less painful with just a finger prick. Okay. And he said she instantly sucked me into her vision. And he ended up working for her. And then he discovered something alarming, that it was kind of an open secret within the company that the technology that she was touting actually didn't exist. And he blew the whistle by taking it to a newspaper. And here's the part about integrity. It was not the path of least resistance. He said, it would have been easier for me to quit quietly and move on with my life. And that's actually what my parents advised me to do when I was a 22-year-old kid fresh out of college. But he insisted on the integrity path, and that involved confronting his own grandfather, who actually sat on the Theranos board. And it says he didn't believe me, and he said, I think you're wrong. And it took some time for the elder Schultz to believe his grandson. Their relationship was never the same, and he never apologized. But he did say, I did the right thing. Boy, that's some pressure right there. It's a great example. The third principle is objectivity. Maintaining integrity. Objectivity is very intertwined with the concept of independence. Essentially, we are being hired, or we're being asked to audit because we're the ones that can tell the truth about a situation. And so we want everyone to know that our opinions, findings, conclusions, judgments, and recommendations are impartial. Otherwise, we're pretty worthless. Like, for instance, if you asked Elizabeth Holmes, hey, how's that new technology going? She'd go, great. Give me more money. That's what program managers could do too in the government. Everything's fine here. Look somewhere else. But we're being hired to look and see if things actually are going well. And for that, we need to be unbiased. We need to be independent. We need to be objective. We need to be believable. Okay, so that's what objectivity is about. And then proper use of government information, resources, and positions is principle number 4. I had a girlfriend who worked for a retirement system, and she and I were really close, and I was dating this guy who she didn't like, and he worked for the state, and she had access to his retirement data and his salary data. And she shared that with me before I could stop her. She's like, you know how much money he makes a year? Blah, 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 blah. You don't want to be with a guy like that. I was like, really? Don't tell me that kind of stuff. Really? What are you doing? She was using access to data that she had because she was an auditor. And she gave me information that I should not have had access to. Right? So that wasn't cool. I did not end up with him, not because of that reason. And she's no longer there, which is all good. Okay, so be careful with the information you have. Again, we have to keep that credibility intact. And that gets us to our 5th principle, which is professional behavior. Why do I have Mardi Gras beads here? Because when I think of this one, I think of this guy I knew who was a single guy, and he had a bunch of, kind of rowdy friends. He was an auditor with the city, and they got arrested at the Mardi Gras parade. Problem was, of course, getting arrested is no fun at all, not cool at all. But the problem was he was auditing the police department at that very moment. So there he was, the auditor, locked in jail. Ha 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 ha. Now, he could have turned that into something. He could have said, oh, this is just an audit test. But no, everybody knew that he was just not acting in a professional manner and had caused trouble for the police department. So he had to be pulled off that audit, right? So always maintain that that credibility. Do not bring discredit to the auditor's work. You don't want anybody to doubt your results. Okay? So those are the 5 principles: the public interest, integrity, objectivity, proper use of government information, resource, and position, and professional behavior. They're all designed to make sure that we do right by the children. We are the world. We are the children. Would you like to learn a little bit more about this topic and earn some CPE at the same time? Check out a course on the Yellow Book, which is classified under audit standards, to learn more about these ethical principles. There's the Yellow Book Interpreted, which is a 10-hour course. A few videos, one designed for financial auditors, another for performance auditors. There are also bundles, which are multiple courses together for financial auditors and performance auditors. Or once this pandemic resolves, I can come see you in person. And that wraps it up for another episode of The Sample. True to the nature of a sample, we didn't talk about everything, so you've probably got questions. Write to me at Leita@Yellowbook-CPE.com, and I'll do my best to fill in the blanks. Thanks for playing.